This meeting is being transcribed and summarized.
Okay, we're going to call to order Town of Lloyd regular board meeting for April 16th. We will open it and we will ask Dylan to lead us through the Pledge of Allegiance.
Everyone please rise. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to start tonight off, and thank you, Dylan, for leading us on that. And we're going to start off with Dylan's presentation, which is his Eagle Scout project at Berrien Park. So you'll see the pictures that were just passed out to you, and I'll let Dylan tell us what he's thinking of doing. That might need to be turned on. There you go.
Hello.
Thank you. There you go.
Hi, my name is Dylan Ruger, and I'm a scout with Troop 70 here in Highland. I am here with my Eagle Scout mentor, Miss Donaldson, and my Scoutmaster, Mrs. Metz, with her kids. So I have just started to work on my Eagle project, and I wanted to share some ideas with you on what I could do.
Okay.
I would like to focus my project on Berrien Park. I chose Berrien because I live 30 seconds away from it, and I go there a lot and enjoy the lake. So here's some ideas I have for the park. My first idea is a fishing pier. I could build 20 feet off into the lake, so people can enjoy fishing off of it, and just something different than fishing off the land. It is a difficult project to complete, but I think with the right plan, I could accomplish it. Another idea I have is putting benches along the lake so people can sit and enjoy. Recently, I saw some people move a picnic table closer to the lake to sit on while fishing, so I think benches would be a good addition. Another idea was recently I noticed the lifeguard chair was balanced on rocks. I knew they had
Precarious, isn't it?
I knew they added sand, so I don't know what the condition will be without it. But I was thinking I could create like some sort of cement slab so it won't be balancing and rocky and rocking. Somebody who's drowning, while the lifeguard wouldn't struggle getting down from it and trip on the rocks.
Yeah,
Not a good deal.
that's probably a good idea.
Not a
huh?
good idea.
These are just a few ideas I have. So if anyone has any questions or input on what else I could do, now's the time.
I personally think they're all good ideas, and you really have to choose one, and then, you know, you could work with us and both our recreation director, the town board, and whatever else we need. We'll support you. You know, you gotta select one and kind of tell us what you need from us, what you think, and we'll, you know, you can ask us for opinions if you're stuck between two or something like that. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I think
Troop
that's
master.
one of the
Okay.
things Dylan was hoping to find out, like, a fishing pier obviously is a little more intrusive,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
and, you know, you wouldn't know the town's appetite for something that may involve sinking footings in the lake, so.
yeah. The problem with, not problem, that may take a bit longer because of all the wetland controls and everything you have to go through with some of the regulatory stuff, whether it's DEC or whatever with that. That's also off the reservoir, which is one of our water supply bases. So that's why it would be there's probably more regulations for something like that. The bench idea, the lifeguard chair, I think it would be a really good idea, especially the lifeguard chair thing. That to me is important, that when they're sitting up there and they're getting ready to jump off because they need to go help somebody, it doesn't fall over on them, right? So, I mean, I kind of like that one. I don't know, Mike, Tiffany?
Yeah, my question would be, do you have any idea what this is gonna cost? It looks like an expensive project.
The pier does,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the pier, definitely,
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely
So
an
your
expensive
plans
project.
of raising money,
I mean, I love it, don't get me
Part of
wrong.
the project.
I'm in like the first stage, so I haven't gone that far into fundraising, so I would need to research that and see the materials on how much it would cost.
My suggestion would be incorporate the bench for lifeguard and the benches along the park.
Okay,
Incorporate the two and make that your project.
all right,
That's just my suggestion.
okay. I forgot to mention, on the stairs, that last step platform has like a giant crack in it.
Yeah,
So I was thinking about redoing that. And also the railing, it is kind of disgusting, so I think I could sand that, then repaint it. So,
they're all good ideas, they're great ideas.
Peter's got something about
Ones that you don't do, the town probably should be doing.
It's kind of interesting because
I never looked at it like that.
yeah, no, it's kind of interesting though, because you talked about Berry Ann Park, and I've been trying to put in grants for Berry Ann Park because I think it's outdated. I want to update it to make it all ADA accessible. So I'm in the process right now of writing a grant by myself to try and get that up, which grants are a lot of work when you start writing them, right? And so I know I've asked Tiffany for some help, and I've got Gina Hansett trying to help me also. But I think it's a good place to do something. I kind of like the idea that, both the bench and the lifeguard thing, but I don't, again, know how costly it'll be, because Mike brings up a point, whatever you do, you got to be able to raise funds for, and the more complex it is, and the more it's regulated, it will take longer, and, because some of the regulations, you actually have to get consultant reports and everything else on, which gets very expensive, because we have to do it all the time. But I love the fact that you picked Berry Ann Park. I think as a town board, I think we're all willing to work through it with you,
Yeah, I think they're all great ideas.
and help you where you need,
Without question.
and help you wherever you need it.
Yeah,
okay.
And last year too, one of the students at the high school for their civics readiness project, they did a bench. So you could probably reach out to Miss Saylor too. And, if the bench is the direction that you want to go, she may have ideas for you as to, point you in the right direction if you wanted to do something like that. But that was a great project as well.
Okay.
I love the fishing pier idea. I think it's great, but,
I like that
it's-
idea.
I do
it's-
too.
it's-
I like them all, I like them all.
but
Yeah.
that one's that'll be a costly project, very costly.
Peter, you had something?
Yes, I'm not sure if the lifeguard stand gets moved back and forth during the season.
Yeah, I don't know.
Want to point that out?
Sometimes.
Then
So-
in the benches.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lifeguard chair, we move it like sometimes, I don't know, like if it's gonna be like a really bad storm, we'll bring it up
Right.
and put it in the, like the bathroom building. But otherwise, we just leave the chair down there.
But
the
you still-
rocks are really bad.
But you still could put
Yeah.
something underneath it and then have things that it fits into,
Yeah.
or something like that, to make it more stable.
Well, the
Even
ba-
if you put it away.
The base for that and the landing for the stairs could be done at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably too.
Now, during a severe storm, do you move the lifeguard chair because it might blow away?
Yeah, cause we don't want it to like fall down.
Okay, so maybe if he does that,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
to
it
anchor
might be all right,
it,
yeah.
so.
If it's anchored, you may not have to do that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you, thank you very much.
On the fishing pier, if you put it by the scout camp off of that little cove there, you can anchor it, but then you just need like one post permanently in the water to anchor it.
Okay. Yeah, so I think you research them, let us know, we'll help you, we'll get, people who run the park involved or whatever, so But I think I think what you're getting from the town board is, you know, we're positive on the ideas and,
Yep,
you know,
very positive.
glad to have you doing it, really. Glad to have you even thinking about it, really.
Yeah.
Do you have, like an architect or an engineer that could help you with the planning of this? That could volunteer their time?
We have, resources through the troop who can, I mean, if we need to be involved with, obviously, you know, ecological surveys or, you know, any impact assessments, that you'd probably reach out to the town.
Because in the past, we've had Herbie Litz, I believe he did off the walkway, they built a bridge, and Herbie
That's
helped
right,
a lot.
he helps with that, yeah.
And obviously they'll vary from project to project, right?
Yeah.
Like putting benches in is gonna have a much lower.
Yeah,
impact
right.
than
Right.
if you're-
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Anybody have any more
Thank you.
questions for
Thank
Dylan?
you.
or- No? Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you,
Good
Dylan.
luck.
Yeah, good
Great
luck.
Good luck, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
well, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
We'll continue, move on, just some reminders, and, we have May as a big month for, some of the events we're doing, and I think we actually, talked about calling May Community Involvement Month, to kind of, you know, try and get a little more help, people to start getting involved in doing things in the community. But some reminders of what is going on is April 26th, we have Cops and Bobbers, which the PBA sponsors, which is fishing where they stock the reservoir and they have their fishing contest.
It's actually not PBA anymore,
Not PBA, it's just Cops and Bobbers,
just
okay?
the police force.
So the police, so the town of Lloyd Police are sponsoring, not PBA anymore, okay? We have the Shred Day on May 3rd from 9 a.m. to noon. And same day, we have our Community Cleanup Day, which is Saturday, May 3rd at 8:30. And I think the way they're doing that is people showing up here, we're letting you know what sections of town they want, and they can come here and pick up their supplies, which are obviously vests where needed, gloves and bags. And then the town highway department will pick up the bags. Anything else on that or any of these three events?
And Easter in the Hamlet is this Saturday.
Easter in the Hamlet is this Saturday because it got rained out last Saturday, that's correct.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, I think that's 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
10 a.m., right?
Yes, yep.
Okay, we'll go on from there. So we'll then move straight to the reports. And we'll start off with, since you're at the top, Councilmember Rizzo with the Beautification Committee.
All right. So we did have a meeting last Thursday for the beautification committee. We kind of just talked about our plans for planting. It looks like we'll probably start after Mother's Day. We are hesitant to plant in the planters in town during Springfest, just in case they get trampled or, you know, we don't want anything to happen to them. But we do have plans for up at Veterans Park. We're gonna take out that spirea bush by the sign, and we're gonna, I think we're gonna plant lavender is what we've been talking about. And then the other thing, we are looking for, our committee is pretty full. We don't need volunteers for the committee aspect, but we do need volunteers for planting and weeding and things like that. So if there's anybody that's interested in doing so, you know, please reach out to us. That's it for beautification. And for school board, they went over the 2025-26 budget. They're planning to use reserves to close the deficit. So they're going to use $74,347 from the ERS reserve, and $376,263 will be used from the tax cert reserve, totaling $450,610 for a deficit. This amount can and will be adjusted as needed if the state comes through with funds. They haven't announced that yet. And Mr. Freer will be putting together another budget video like he did last year. I feel like it was kind of helpful for taxpayers as to how those things worked. Registration applications have started for UPK, and they close on May 2nd. It is a lottery system, and there will be 48 spots available. May 9th is kindergarten screenings. The elementary school has launched their Kids Heart Challenge, and to make it a bit fun this year, there's a friendly competition with Marlboro as to who can raise more funds, Highland or Marlboro. There is a special prize at the end for who does so. The Seal of Civics Readiness Showcase was last Wednesday. Dave and I went, and again, I just want to congratulate all of those candidates on their amazing projects. They really did a great job. Sahar Mokal is this year's valedictorian, and Elaine Shaby, I'm hoping I pronounced that right, is the salutatorian. And Kevin actually teaches Sahar and mentioned that she has been accepted into both Johns Hopkins and Yale.
Wow.
So I'm sure there's others, so she's going to have big decisions to make. There's 2 seats up for school board this year, and applications are currently available. Next board meeting will be held on April 22nd. And for anybody interested, May 9th is the spring gala, and tickets are still available if needed for that.
Okay. And when's the public hearing for the budget? Is that the 6th? It would be a Tuesday, right? It has to be 2 weeks before.
I'm not sure
I
on
think
that.
it's the 6th. I might be wrong on that.
Okay. Yes, I do not
I'm
believe that
sure
that
it's
was
on- It's on
mentioned.
their calendars.
Yeah.
But I think it's the 6th.
Okay.
Okay. And just to highlight on the civics projects
Yeah.
that Tiffany and I attended, and I think there was actually an article in today's paper about it. I think there was like 26 of them. And I think the thing that was interesting, at least to me, is I went last year, so did Tiffany, and it was the first year they did it. And the difference between last year and this year was kind of astounding to me, because you see how far they came. I mean, they were all very articulate, and they progressed a lot, and they started to get more involved actually with our community. And we offered up, hey, the more involvement you want to get in our community, the better. So,
Yep.
but I thought it was impressive. So I was glad that they invited me.
And a lot of the projects too are, I found to be like church related.
Yep.
So even, Nathaniel Swart, who was here for his Eagle Scout, was also his civics project, and he goes to church across the river. There was a one in New Paltz. So I think that kind of, when they do, go into other towns, that's more, because they kind of have a stepping ground there.
Right.
But we were willing to help them in any way, and they were great. They should be very proud of themselves.
Okay. Anybody else have questions for Tiffany? Okay, thank you. I'll just cover the ECC while I'm here. They are right now preparing for Springfest. They're coming up with writing the Lloyd Leaf. I think they normally hand that out at Springfest. And they're working on a couple conservation grants that we've talked about. They'll be meeting next Monday, so we'll get another update from them after that. No updates for me on the Lloyd Community Development Committee. We're supposed to be getting a few applications in at our next meeting, so when we get them, we'll bring them forward. We'll move forward then to Councilmember Frano with his committees.
Okay. We'll start with, excuse me, start with the Events Committee. As we just mentioned, the Easter in the Hamlet was postponed due to snow last week. So this Saturday at 10 a.m. And then right after that, next month, Springfest will be May 17th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And going a little further out, July 5th is old-fashioned fireworks, we hope. Dave and I met last week with Desmond, I forget his name,
Barnett.
the business manager at the school, and Pete Miller, and we talked about the insurance requirements. He fully understood our position. We're trying to get the school to agree that we do have enough coverage. Margaret, and recently, as this afternoon, I was talking with our fireworks company. They owe us some insurance documentation that we have to provide to the school. I guess they get it from Lloyd's of London, and they said they would have it to Margaret by Monday, and then we could turn everything over to the school, and hopefully logic will prevail and we'll be able to have our fireworks without having to pay a premium for additional insurance that's really not needed. So that's it for the events. We'll go in, and the pavilion's moving along. Much of the electric is in, some of the lights are in. Anthony Gingrasso has been working with a couple of volunteers and one local plumber. The toilets, we're running hard to get the restrooms operational, and it looks like they'll be in there again this weekend, and I know we'll have at least 3 operational. Hopefully all 6 will be in the next couple of weeks. And we have a resolution tonight on the painting, because we do have to, that wood now is cured. It's been a year and a half, so now we can seal it and protect it. And we have a couple of bids that we received, so we'll be voting on that, and we can get them in there and get that work done. Ambulance, New Paltz Rescue. March was another busy month, 205 calls. The average response time was 6 minutes and 23 seconds, which is well within the requirements. They had 4 calls that were over 11, 12 minutes, and all of those were because of multiple calls at the same time and having to dispatch, additional rigs. But they're doing well, and still the relationship is good with them. Lighting, Central Hudson's, they've been pretty responsive. They've taken care of the 5 lights on Riverside Road, 5 of the 7 lights on what would be North Riverside were out. So they got those replaced or repaired. The one on Amanda Circle, the resident told me it's been out for 6 years. It's working, and they got that back on. The new light that we voted on Martin Road, 220 Martin Road, that was installed, and that was really a swap because that 187 Martin Road, they removed that there. So there's still a couple of work orders out there open, but Central Hudson's been very, they've been, I guess, very responsive in taking care of this. That's lighting. I think that's it, right?
Okay.
Oh, Fire District, I'm sorry, Fire District. They had their officers' election earlier this month. We have a new fire chief, Jeffrey Dimitro, who is a paid firefighter in Kingston, is now the chief. Pete Miller is an assistant chief. And the report for March, again, they had a busy month. They had 38 alarms in March. Average firefighters per call was 15. The highest number was 31. Number of apparatus responses was 92. They had 577 hours for answering alarms, 50 hours for meetings, 67 hours for training, and 8.5 miscellaneous hours. So last month, the month of March, 802.5 hours of volunteer from our fire Highland Hose Company. I think
Okay,
that's
thank
it.
you. Any questions, John, from the board? Okay, we'll move on to Councilmember Akmoody with his items.
All right, Highland Landing. As of this afternoon, the docks are not in yet. We had sort of scheduled it to get it in, but the guy that was doing the rowing had his shells or whatever, hulls, whatever the devil they call them,
Skulls.
and his little thing was in the way, so they couldn't get in there to get the docks out and back in the water. So they've been moved as of last night. So hopefully within the next couple of days, we can get the docks in. Everything else down there is coming around, like spring. Things are starting to look a little bit better and don't look so glum. but everything else down there is pretty good at the moment. The lady that has the 89 Main Street, we've hung up inside all of the hangers, so if they want to have an art show, they can hang everything down from there. So that's all up and pretty nice, actually, in place. So we'll see how that all works out. Trying to work on getting the sign that had blown down back up, but the weather's getting better now, so we'll get on that. All of the early spring cleanup and everything, mulch and everything is down, so that's all in pretty good shape. Next thing for the planning board. Let's see, minutes approved, informational, Duchess. Some of their old business was Smoko Designs, site plan 7179 Vineyard Avenue. That is now a public hearing that they'll have the public hearing on the 24th. That was for then. The other public hearing was for 546 North Eltings Road. That public hearing had been opened, it was closed, and the approval passed. The applicant was seeking a lot line revision to grant road frontage to SBL 79.3-2. So that was approved. My fingers don't work very well. Anyway, and then Heavenly Heart Pet Cemetery, that hearing has been held open, which everybody's reading about in the paper. LLC Special Use Permit 134 Vineyard Avenue, applicant seeking a special use permit for mixed use, commercial and residential in existing building. That that had been opened, that was closed, and that's passed. Mando Peters Special Use Permit 45 Gaverty Road, application is seeking a special use permit for ground-mounted solar. That again was open, it was closed, and that application passed. Continued public hearing for the Vineyard Avenue 19 to 25. That public hearing was closed and the application was approved. Then 3509 amended site plan for 3509 Route 9W. That's that, I got it right? Yeah. That application is seeking amendment to site plan at a food truck. That's over by the car wash. That was passed and accepted. One short-term rental was 400 North Eltings Corners. That will be this month. So that's it, as far
Okay.
as that goes.
Hudson Valley Rail Trail?
Peter, if you would, please.
Okay, on the rail trail, the safety corridors we talked about, we have all the parts we need to get that
They
installed.
came in then? They've been delivered?
Yes, I
Okay,
have
good.
everything delivered. I have to call Dig Safe
Yep.
to put the posts in, and we'll get that within a couple of weeks.
Good. And that's both out on 299
Yeah,
and
it's
Highland
Commercial
Woods
Avenue
and
Hi-
commercial?
Yes, but
And
the
commercial.
signage would be by the shed place too.
Right,
No
okay.
cones, just the signage.
Right.
Because those are the ones that are supposed to
Okay.
stop. At our board meeting last night, a couple of the members have been approached about lighting in the tunnels during the day. That is kind of dark and whatnot. I will look into that. I don't know if we can do a solar thing that doesn't have batteries, so it doesn't come on at night. It only comes on during the day, but that was just a safety thing they brought up. So.
Were they that dark?
I didn't think they're that dark.
I didn't either. That's why I'm curious. I'm trying to think of which ones might be dark.
Probably the one at Tony Williams a little bit, but I will look into that
Okay,
before,
okay.
you know.
I don't know.
It just came up, so,
Okay,
He's pretty bright.
okay? That's it.
okay. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks, Peter.
Okay, we'll move forward with Councilmember Guerrero on Zoning Board of Appeals.
Okay, under old business, a Robert Sabuto, he's seeking a use variance out on Black Creek. He's looking to put 2 short-term rentals on his property, and only one is permitted, and that is still left open, undecided, how they're gonna move forward. And then the public hearing for Vineyard Avenue Associates. It's 8894 Vineyard Avenue. It's a building that we pass all the time and we don't even notice it. You're on Main Street and you make the left going up towards the M&T Bank. On the right-hand side, right next to the music shop, there's a building there. And the address is on Vineyard Avenue. So the gentleman would like to put an office there and in the front on Milton Avenue, and then 3 apartments in the back above the building. So that's going to public hearing, that's still left open. And that's about it.
Any questions for Mike? Okay, thanks, Mike. Okay, thanks for all the reports. We'll move forward. And a few months ago, we were here under old business, so we talked about some of the visibility problems on Tilson, and we've met with Barton and Judas, had a few solutions. We've met with Richie a few times on it, and I think we've come to kind of a final where we're gonna go with it. So I asked Peter Cristiano, who's on the WebEx, and you have a couple pictures here that he sent us. So, Peter, if you can go through and describe for us, the way we're gonna, work through these and fix some of the visibility. It'll never be 100%, I don't believe, on some of the driveways, but it will be on the roadways. So if you can explain it to the board here, I would appreciate it.
Yes. Hi, Dave. Can you hear me?
Sure, yeah, very good, thank you.
So I can't see what's in front of you. Do you have the figures?
Drawing
or-
of Tilson where you're showing the,
Yeah, I thought.
we have your drawing where you're showing us the lines with the, telling us what's gonna happen on it. And then we also have a picture of the 2 walls that are being modified.
Yep. So I guess the first thing is the 2 walls on Upper Smith Terrace.
Right.
So those 2 are at 9 Tilson Avenue and 11 Tilson Avenue. Those 2 are going to be adjusted. There's going to be a few courses taken off of those 2 walls. So site visibility is increased at that location. For the other driveway locations, we've had some coordination with the property owners, at least at, I think it was 21 Tilson Avenue. And that property owner voiced concern about reducing the height of the wall at their driveway. And so we looked at another alternative of putting additional striping on Tilson Avenue. So taking the existing 12-foot travel lane and reducing it to 10-foot in the lane that goes from Vineyard Avenue to Route 9W. So that would go from 12 feet in width to 10 feet, and there would be a white stripe 2 foot off of the existing curb line. So why would we do that? We're doing that to position the vehicles on Tilson Avenue a little farther away from the curb line. It will also show, I wouldn't say an obstruction, but it's more of a visual for the motorist that hey, there's a narrow travel lane that's still in compliance, but it's narrower. The striping is there to provide some traffic calming. So it's there to be more visual for those motorists. And it also positions those vehicles a little farther away from the driveways, so the motorists, as they leave the residents, as they leave their driveways, have a little more buffer between the edge of their vehicle and the travel lane. So on the figures we have it's mainly some notes for where to begin the striping, where to end it, how wide, kind of, what the taper length is. So those sorts of things are more for the contractor when that work is done. But in a nutshell, that's kind of what the intent was with the striping here.
Right, and the wall work, we spoke with Richie, he's gonna do that with B&L paying Richie for that. Was the agreement we made on that. So he's meeting
Yep.
he's meeting with the two residents when he's ready to do it.
Yep, so all of that striping and the wall work, that's covered by B&L, yes.
Right. Anybody have questions for Peter, or?
Top rail on the bridge.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, you can ask, Lenny.
Well, one of the concerns that we've had from quite a few people are, when you come down Tilson Avenue and stop at the stop sign, the top rail on the bridge, you know, the little extension kind of in the middle, I don't know if it's for keeping people from trying to commit suicide or what, but a lot of people, that is in their sight, you know, even the lieutenant said when he's in the police car, he can't see over it, and there's nobody in this county taller than him. So, I mean, that's something we need to address along with all of this.
Yep, that is.
Yep, and we're aware of that, and we looked into this, I think, this was back in the summertime. Our construction manager and I went out, we looked at the site, we took some measurements, we kind of came up with a few thoughts on that, and then more recently, as per the town supervisor, we, had another couple, like you said, Lenny, a couple suggestions come in, complaints. So we put up our traffic cameras to collect some data, and I still have to look at that. Preliminary looking at that, it looks like people come down the hill and they don't really stop. They kind of do a rolling stop. But we're not done with our re-examination of that rail. That I know the upper rail is per standard from the New York State DOT. It's a 4-rail bridge rail. That's a requirement when you have curb. But I don't think it's something we can remove to then make it not non-standard. But we're still in talks with our structures team to see what else maybe we can do instead at that location.
Okay.
Mike, Tiffany, John, any questions?
No, that is a problem when
Yeah.
you're coming down, the hill, getting onto Vineyard Avenue, as you look towards Clintondale, the visibility.
It's both ways, really.
Yeah, it
Both
is.
ways, Mike. Because, and it's just
there's
that.
a bend in the road
It's
and
just that one top rail, and that's what, the chief brought that up. And then just, so some follow-on to Peter, so he talked about the camera, we had requested they had volunteered to put the camera up there, because the chief and I had been looking through all the accidents that have occurred there. So we've been trying to figure out, which way is the most prevalent. And it appears to be the most prevalent is people pulling out of Talk and cars coming from the south to the north, out of Talk on the other side,
Right.
the road that didn't move. So it's kind of interesting. So we have to figure out, what we can go back to DOT with. That's why we're collecting all the data, because they're going to tell us it's standard, but we want to show them the data, which I think is important.
It looks like sometimes people come out of talk and they're a little anxious.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, they do.
very anxious.
Well, you have such a line of sight there that,
Yeah.
you
I mean, I come out of there probably more than anybody now, so, it is, you do want to jump out of there, but I got your point, Mike, so this is the fix we're gonna have, we're gonna go with it, and, we've been in contact with the people, so they know what's going on, so I wanted to make sure the board was aware of it, just to see if there's any further concerns.
and this is not funded by the town. right?
No.
No? Okay.
Okay. So we will proceed with that, and we'll update you as we get more data on both the traffic patterns and Peter on this rail, because I've heard this rail more than a handful of times already. Okay?
Yep, sounds good, thank you.
Thanks for attending, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, no new business. Anybody here tonight for privilege to the floor? Or anybody on WebEx? Doesn't look like it.
Where are you, new?
We will move into motions and resolutions.
Just new business, just a quick update. We do have a vendor for the Reservoir and Tony Williams concession stands. We'll vote on that tonight. And we got their certificate of insurance, and they're excited about the possibility, and we're happy to have someone operating both of those facilities. We met with them a couple of times, and we had a meeting here with Frankie the other day, and they got some ideas, and they're just going to start off slow and just get a feel for the business that's there, and hopefully attract people off the rail trail. So I don't know if at some point maybe we could do some little signage, snack bar or something like that, but they're anxious and ready to go, and we give them the keys tomorrow morning, so good stuff. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to move forward to motions and resolutions. Resolution A is to authorize the payment of vouchers as audited by the Audit Committee.
Motion?
Second.
Second. Oh.
Favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, Resolution B is to hire the summer fun team, and this is the directors. You can see the names there, Roseanne Sasso, Dylan Berry, Chris Hammond, Bruce Hanlon at a rate of $17.76, and all at the recommendation of Frank Alfonso, Recreation Director. Can I get a
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Resolution C. Now, this is for the water treatment plant generator. If you remember, we put this out in February, and we did not get a bid back. Okay, there was only one modification that was made, and it was the placement of the generator, because some thought maybe where the generator was being placed made it more difficult, because they might have had to they would have had to use a crane to set it in place. So by moving it, it may get us, people may be more interested. They'll have to get the crane and the bigger work. So they've rewrote it to say that, and we're going to put the bid out again. And I won't read through all of it, but again, this is where the town of Lloyd is commissioned as a water district. We previously advertised for bids for the natural gas-powered emergency backup generator at the Lloyd treatment plant, including all the, electronic transfer switches, et cetera, to go along with it. No bids were received, and we had CPL has prepared on behalf of the town the revised contract documents and specifications, along with improvements, along with an advertisement for bids. Whereas the town wishes to rebid pursuant to said documents, now therefore be it resolved the town of Lloyd Board as commissioners of the water district and in cooperation with advisors, consultants involved, will undertake such bid and bidding documents in accordance with the law to give notice of bidders with the attached advertisement for bids prepared by CPL, Architecture and Planning, with respect to such improvements. Such bids will be accepted until 4 p.m. local time on May 5th, 2025 at Town Hall, 12 Church Street, Highland, New York. As further resolved that such documents and proposed contracts will be available, and it's further resolved that the bid must contain non-collusion certificate required by general municipal law, and the town board shall reserve the right to waive technical non-compliance or irregularities. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor of the town of Lloyd is hereby authorized to execute and acknowledge on behalf of the town documents are reasonably necessary to give full force and effect to the intent and purpose of this resolution regarding preparation of the bid specs and advertising of bids. Can I get a motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so we'll get the bid back out and look forward to getting some bids on the 5th of May. So we get that one moving. Okay, Resolution D, this is the one John was talking about on the concession stands. Again, where the town of Lloyd currently has recreating facilities located at Berry Ann Park, 52 Reservoir Road, and Tony Williams Field on Riverside Road. Included in the recreation facilities are locations designed for certain food services to the visitors of the facilities. Town wishes to provide food service for the convenience of the visitors. The town has negotiated a town park concession stand license agreement with Lisa Sindone as owner of Luigi's Deli by Lisa, which agreement's attached. The town wishes to approve said license for the period of, I think it would be May 23rd, right? That's when we open the park?
Yeah, when we open the park, yes.
Okay, May 23rd, 2025 through October 31st, 2025. The agreement by and between Lisa Sindone, Louise's Deli in the form of attached and made part of hereby approved. Dave Plavchek, the supervisor of Town Lloyd, is hereby authorized to sign the agreement on behalf of the Town of Lloyd and the Town Lloyd Water District. Can I get
Motion.
Second.
any discussion?
If they want to start at Tony Williams earlier, I know the reservoir's not open, but if they want to start earlier at Tony Williams, so they,
Well, what date do you want on here?
Well, I would say, yeah, whatever day you think they're gonna want.
So just tell us what
Okay,
you want
good.
tomorrow on it?
well, they're going to be in there cleaning tomorrow, so,
Okay, so we'll modify the date then
yeah,
to
we can
May.
modify
Yeah,
the
I'd say
date.
go tomorrow. The other thing, I think you might wanna add,
Lou Olson, yeah, because he's the insured.
So April, so April 17th,
18?
17th tomorrow.
I have a discussion. So typically, the Highland Youth Football and Cheer uses it for the 4 home games that they have.
Right.
Now, it is anticipated that we are going to be able to, play at the high school. If for some reason not, I mean, that's a big moneymaker
Right, for the
for
youth.
We
that
asked
league.
that question when we were at the school the other day,
Okay.
and they said it's most likely you're going to be playing at the high school.
I think
If
they're,
not, what's gonna?
if
do
not,
we-
we'll just tell them those days they can't be in there, I think. That's what you're gonna have to do. You're not gonna take the money away from the youth program for that.
Okay.
That would be my take. I don't know what you got, Mike or Lenny, if you have any thoughts on that.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll talk more about that then.
Yeah.
at that point.
But they did, Pete, he did say, we asked specifically about that.
Okay.
And they said, most likely they're.
Yeah, we think you're gonna end up playing at the high school field.
Okay.
That's what it looks like.
Okay.
well, I think you wanna add Louis,
Yep.
Olson to it.
Okay, okay. So as modified then with,
Lisa? I would just add Lisa and Louis.
so,
Yeah,
okay,
they're
so,
the co-owners.
so we're gonna modify it to make sure it's April 17th and it's both the owners, Lisa and Louis Olson.
Louis Olson.
And the insurance is all set up already?
We got, she has a copy, yes.
So they can go in, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because they wanted the keys this morning, and I said, no, we have to go through this process, and I need your insurance, so now we're good.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
All right,
Aye.
All opposed?
what, Peter?
Question whether they're gonna be open 7 or 5 days.
Don't know.
At the reservoir, there's a clause in there that they're open 10 to,
Right.
Yeah, the reservoir is more restrictive hour-wise.
right.
Okay. All right, Resolution E. Whereas the Town Lloyd Environmental Conservation Committee is developing a strategic plan to diversify funding through addition of private and corporate foundations for specific initiatives. Plan for the town's open space and recreation areas and parks. The town has received a proposal from Go Get Grants to create a grant strategy to expand the pipeline of viable funders, and a roadmap of grant submissions over the next 12 to 18 months. And the proposal's being attached as Exhibit A, which I think you all had or saw last week or last meeting. The town wishes to approve the grant strategy proposal for a fee of $3,500 to be payable pursuant to said proposal within 15 days after the finalized grant strategy. We need to add in here, but the follow-on grants, the most expensive any grant writing for a grant would be is $500. So that would be the max we would pay for any grant beyond that. Now therefore be it resolved that the grant strategy proposed by Go-To Grants to Town of Lloyd is hereby approved, and the supervisor is authorized to sign documents necessary to effectuate the terms of said proposal. Can I get a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Hold on.
So it's 3,500, and then any follow-on at 500.
Is at the most of it will be is 500, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Resolution F. This is to amend the following fees in the Lloyd Development Fee Schedule, increasing the amount for failure to obtain permit from $300 to $500, and adding escrow accounts for zoning boards of appeals applications, as you can see on here, under 15.1 through 4, with initial deposits upon application. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? We've gone around and compared them with other towns, and this is pretty much in line and reasonable. Some charge actually, like on second offense, some of them escalate on second and third offenses to like, I think it was, might have been New Paltz, went something like for 1,000 or 1,500 on the second and third offenses. So, interesting. Okay, since this fee schedule, why don't we do a roll call on this, Wendy?
Frano?
Yes.
Plavcheck?
Yes.
Akmoody?
Yes.
Guerrero?
Yes.
Rizzo?
Okay, moving forward, G is to accept the resignation of Clifford Brower III as MEO, Town Lloyd Highway Department, effective 4/25/25, the recommendation of Richard Klotz, Highway Superintendent.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Resolution H. It's a resolution of local law being proposed as local law B. And it's to amend Chapter 18, Officers and Employees of Town of Lloyd Code to enact a new Article 3 resident requirements for Deputy Highway Superintendent, to provide that Deputy Highway Superintendent need not be a resident or an elector of the Town of Lloyd, provided that such person, if not a resident of Town of Lloyd, shall reside within an adjoining municipality located within Ulster County. And the Town Board desires to hold a public hearing with respect to adoption of the aforesaid local law. Now therefore, be it resolved that a public hearing will be held by the Town Board with respect to adoption of the local law on the 7th day of March, 2025 at 4:00 p.m. And it's further resolved that the town clerk's directed to publish and post a notice of said public hearing in accordance with the law. Can I get a motion?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carried. And Resolution I. This is what John was talking about for the pavilion, for the painting of the wood. A resolution I is whereas the town of Lloyd wishes to protect the wood structure of the Lewis to Stacy Pavilion. The town solicited 3 quotes and received the following. You can see them there, they're $4,800 to $3,640. And $3,640 is the low bid from Ryder Painting. Now therefore it be resolved, the town awards Ryder Painting the job and accepts their offer to purchase material using the contractor discount.
Motion.
Second it?
Further discussion?
What was that for?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Okay, any other business before? If not, I'd like to ask for a motion to move to executive session for our contract discussion.
Motion?
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Just want to remind you all,
7:55.
7:55. Tomorrow is the opening, the bid opening for your consultants at 11 o'clock.
I won't be here.
Lenny's
so-
gonna come
Can you
in.
be here? Okay. Lenny.
And if they still have training in this room, then we're going to do it in my clerk's office.
Okay,
Also, I think I want to discuss pending litigation while in executive session.
okay, that's fine. Okay, thank you.
We have 5